Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to AOR and the Formula 4 League. Here's Season 1 at AOR, so this is gonna be interesting. We are at the moment just finishing up practice around Red Bull Ring. It's exciting. Let's try and see if we can get a stream running this time without it going completely night-night. Evan has assured me that it will go ahead. But I'm not alone in box. My name is Nick Domino. I have joining me today, Tim. Tim, can you introduce yourself?
Good evening, Tim 360 Lun. I ran the last stream, and not only did it go completely dark, it also went completely wrong on my end. So Domino behind the cams and everything this evening. So hopefully it should be a little bit smoother. You are a man that knows your way around iRacing. I am definitely more of a man that knows my way around ACC. So fingers crossed for everyone at home. A much better viewing experience. But you missed out on quite a good one last week, mate.
Oh yeah, I saw a little bit, but the missus didn't let me watch all of it. So but yeah, I was like, what, I can't see anything, and I was like, oh, it's dark out there, and these cars, because as we see here, they don't have headlights, and the drivers couldn't see anything. So it was a different challenge, and something that you can expect sometimes around here.
Yeah, I think obviously as well, Laguna Seca having no natural lighting as well, kind of went as soon as the big sunlight went out, then there was no trackside lighting either, and it was complete darkness. I think they were hoping maybe for a slightly more gradual gradient of darkness, but actually it ended up being step by step, and then suddenly just absolute pitch black. I thought there was something wrong on my end. I think lots of the racers thought their games had crashed because suddenly they couldn't see anything, and I think it was only people that could reach their monitors to quickly dial the brightness right up managed to get away with it. But yeah. It looks a lot sunnier out here this evening at the Red Bull Ring, so that is good news.
It definitely is, and it's a good thing around here because this is a difficult track. There's 9 corners around here, and we see Gregor going through turn 1 and going all the way out to the line, and these curbs are extremely difficult around, especially in the Formula cars. You hit them, and you will be getting flown straight to the moons. It's the Verstappens. But we do have track limits, and he's driving straight onto the track limits. So it's going to be interesting to see. We are doing qualifying. But let's hear a little bit about what happened last time. We have changes in the standings, doesn't we?
Yeah, there's been some changing in the standing. So George McDonald, currently running first place in the championship, has yet to take the pole position on any of our races, but has very consistently, all but once, been on the podium. And then Jamie Nuttall in second place. He has definitely won a couple of races, but we did get a DNF from him earlier in the season. That was the 3rd race of the season. And then we have Imre as well in 3rd position in the championship, had a pole position, had a 2nd position and a 3rd, but had a disqualification, and a few other bits and pieces have knocked a few points down. So that is our top 3 drivers, and I think they are the only drivers that have actually competed in every single race. There's a couple of other people that have been sort of here and there, in and out from time to time. I know Kiki Mack isn't joining us this evening, and I believe that is our championship leader's teammate, George McDonald's. So there's a bit of movement in the championship, but they're quite close. 124 points, George McDonald, Jamie Nuttall 108, and then Imre with 104. So they are well within striking distance of each other. So yeah, play for still 2 races per meeting as well. So that's a nice chance to get some points. And hopefully they can actually take the points as they cross the line this evening, as opposed to the stoppage time last week, which was very confusing. I think there were some people that were very happy that they crossed the line technically in first at the end of the race. But yeah, I think we went for, when it went dark, the points were taken from that point. So because unless you were behind the safety car, there was not a lot you could see.
Oh yeah, definitely. And interesting that the guys are close here. It's just to explain a little bit about the format here. The drivers are doing 2 races this evening. We have a qualifying here where they have 3 laps, and then we have a main race where they will do a 40-minute race, and they will have a mandatory pit stop where they will have to fuel the cars. And that's the long one. Then we have a sprint race where the grid will be decided by a 1-lap shootout. So if you get an off track or anything like that, oh, as we see, even just do a spinneroonie here and getting it stopped before it went all the way into the wall. But if you make a mistake like we just saw, Evan, he is very good for the commentators there, just proving my point. You won't be able to set a time, and then you will start at the back, and you have to fight your way through the entire field, and you definitely don't want to do that, because as we know, if you're at the back of the field, there's a higher chance of being able to have incidents or crashes or anything like that.
Yeah, I think Dom Joy definitely got a taste of that last week. He was very much mid-pack. I think it was race 1 and race 2. He ended up getting clipped on the run to turn 1. Well, technically turn 2 at Laguna Seca. There's that small little left-hand kink as you go down the hill that they class as turn 1. But the major hairpin at the bottom of the hill. I don't think he made it there either of the races without getting tagged and spun around. So recovery drives both times for him. I will say, when it's the really fast drivers that do have an incident or they don't qualify, it does make it brilliant for us at home. Or us here in the booth, at least, because you do get to watch some amazing battles all the way through as you watch someone outclass the competition. It's quite enjoyable from time to time. Maybe not every single race.
No, but that is true, and it's just a bit weird. Oh, as we see Evan go all the way into Narnia there. We do have, it's a bit weird thing with qualifying, and that is in every category, that we do qualify, and then we have the fastest guys in the top, as we have Liam just posting in a new pole time here. Oh, as Joe again went in faster than him here. Changes at the top, but we have the fastest guy starting at the front, and we have the slower guy starting at the back. For entertainment purposes, that is a bit of the wrong way around, to be honest.
Yeah, I think a reverse grid does work in some circumstances.
Yeah.
I know that British touring cars here in the UK, they usually do 3 races a day. Sorry. And so you have first race, second race, and then the third race uses the grid of race 2 as their qualifying positions, their grid positions. But they pull a number, I think it's 1 to 11 or 12. They pull out of the box, and then whichever number it is, then if say they pull out 12, the front 12 positions get flipped around. So if you're in 12th, suddenly you're in first, and if you're in first, you're in 12th. And obviously, sometimes they pull out number 1 and they literally just swap 2 cars around and that's it. And other times, obviously, you can get a whole 12 cars move, which is pretty wicked to see. And it does mean you get some brilliant battles and you get a bit of a change up. Things to think of in the future, isn't it? Current qualifying. Current qualifying. So we've got Newman still on pole with a 132.5. And I think Newman has just teleported to the pits, possibly.
Yeah, it's he is
he obviously decided he's giving up on that one. Giles running in second place provisionally, and Nuttall in third. So at the moment, the qualifying podium, as it were, being held there, all with mid 132s. George McDonald struggling a little bit this evening.
Yeah, he might be in. Sometimes if you are going around here at this particular track. When you're really pushing it out there, we don't know if that has been a fast lap and then or a safe lap, and then he has bottled it on his fast lap. That could be the case, but let's see what's gonna happen. He has just been able to finish the races, and that is why he, at the moment, is leading the championship. But I don't see anybody actually out there, so let's just I think we have the qualifying out here, so let's just get that on screen. See if we can get that to work. Oh, that worked out basically there.
I am surprised that no one is making the most and using all of the time they had. I mean, there was still basically a minute of qualifying left, and it would appear that everyone's decided to pull into the pits. So Fair enough.
They only have 3 laps. So if they have cleared it within the 3 laps, and this is a short lap, so that might be why they are done so early as they are. So at the moment we have Joe Newman in pole position with a 32.5. Liam P2, then we have Jamie P3. It's interesting to see if he is gonna have a battle up there. Evan in P4, Gregor in P5, and then we have Christopher in P6. And we have P7, that Euros, and then we have P.
I think I was going with Hujak. I was going with the last name on that.
Oh, Hujak. Yeah. See,
Hujak.
I am
might be pronouncing it wrong, but that's what I went with.
Yeah. I am the butcher of names, so they will just get that. Then we have Dominic P8.
Welcome to the club.
Yeah. Guido P9, Andreas P10, Jeff P11, and Dravis?
Yeah,
P12?
sounds about
yeah.
Right. Yep.
And then Steven P13. So that is our grid for today. Let's see, they are gridding up as we speak. Let's get a picture of the grid. Let's lead. Liam, you are on the grid. Yeah, there we are.
I think turn 1's going to be the main thing here. I think if they can survive turn 1 and then turn 2. I mean, I'm going with Nicky Lauda being turn 1 and then Remus being turn 2. If they can survive those 2 turns while the grid is all bunched up still, that's going to be the thing. Got a green flag straight away as well. Goodness gracious, straight away.
It's amazing, and they are going side by side. 2 teammates into turn 1. Joe got a great start and is way up there, and we have everybody seems to be coming out of the corner correctly as we have the 2 teammates still battling. Jamie didn't get past Liam into to turn 1. Is he able to get it here up into turn 3, 4, depending of if you're an American? Ooh, 7 is going for a dive. Oh, that's a huge contact. Wow, and he's doing the right thing, just stopping here. And wow, who is that he hit there? I think it was. Oh, it was Wolfgang he hit there. Let's just see.
Car number 14, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, and that is. Oh, Christopher.
Awkward spot. I mean, he was up the inside, but it was definitely a case of just totally unsighted there by Christopher, and just obviously swung across for the apex. Always difficult when you're going for a big dive like up the inside. I mean, he was very much always there, but yeah, I think that might be one for the stewards as opposed to us. I'm sure they'll look over it on many different cameras and see what's going on. But at the moment, Newman still holding on to pole position. Giles and Nuttall still thundering up behind them. It does appear that McDonald is holding on to the back of them, though. He hasn't dropped away. So maybe trying to play the long game, trying to wait for these 3 to have a bit of a battle, slow themselves down, and he might be able to gain more than just 1 position. But all of them desperate to keep the toe, apart from George, who just keeps his foot flat to the boards and just tries to outright grunt on the main straight.
Yeah, and that was getting very, very wide out there. We just see Liam just really having focus up here. He doesn't have to look behind. He has a teammate behind. And in theory, he wouldn't need to defend that position. Let's see if he's going for the inside here into turn 3. We have seen incidents here. And, that's giving a lot of space. And that's what we see into turn 3. You can have different lines through there. As we see Jamie getting closer and closer here. So this battle for the lead is a 4-way. And it's getting really hot at the moment.
George looking up the inside of Jamie Nuttall there, tries to go for it. There's a bit of an overlap, and he's going to be all the way around the inside, the shorter run. Can he get it done, though? It's going to be side by side. Does look like he might just about squeeze in front, but the road is going away from him, and it goes back to Jamie. Still side by side. His poor little tyres desperately screeching, but I just don't think George is going to be able to hold on to it. He's on the outside again now, not able to hold on to it, and has to give back the position. Well driven by the pair of them there to give each other racing room. But yeah, George very much on the offensive against Jamie Nuttall at this point.
It's some amazing battle as he's going on to the inside here. This is not an overtaking position, but George didn't know that. He didn't see that memo. Went in and got to P3 and then went all the way off and got a off track for that, as we still have positions going arise at the back, but we still have battles for this, as we have a battle for the lead. Liam getting onto the inside, and that was textbook overtaking as George lost the position as well.
Yeah, I think he let off on the pit straight and gave back the position, or something happened, and he suddenly is wildly off the pace. That wasn't. It didn't appear to be. Because it was just on the back straight. Oh, sorry, on the pit straight. He just gave the position back, but then just seemingly not able to get on the power again. So whether that's a hardware problem possibly, or going that wide, maybe he picked up a puncher. Because suddenly he is now under attack. So from going for battling for third place, he's now going to be in a battle to hold on to his position in fourth.
He could have gotten a slowdown penalty. We do have those in this game as well. So if you go too far in some corners, you will get a slowdown penalty. So that might be what we have experienced here, unfortunately.
Yeah, that definitely sounds like about right there. Sort of, telling him to slow down. That would make sense. But again, look how quickly he is now regaining the gap. I mean, he's already gapped away from Hunzak quite a lot there. Sorry, Huziak. Quite a lot. That car number 76. Lovely livery on that car, actually, isn't it? It's really great. Almost looks like an angry wasp buzzing around behind McDonald.
I think it's some warning signs out there. Drive safely and stuff like that. Yes, student driver. Warning, be aware. So that's kind of a different thing than what you were talking about. I think you were thinking about the old what was it? Jordan livery, right? Oh, as we have. Oh, crash! Who was that he hit?
Him as well.
Oh my goodness me! As we have a spin in front of this as well. Let's just try and see if we can get here. So Joe has gotten into the lead. Just way too much speed in there, and he actually saved it fairly well on drifting. And then we see the incident in the back. Let's just go back. I think it was Guido who took all of that contact and just got unsighted, had nowhere to go.
Has he lost his front diffuser? I know for a fact that Husak definitely lost his rear wing. I think the front wing actually is still on that car, but it looks like it's limping. I don't think it does not look as good as it did before.
Oh, I think the suspension is broken here. The suspension is definitely broken here. See if it says that he has stopped here. So as I think we have had an incident more up here. It says that a couple of cars are driving slowly.
I think they're passing that injured car with the rear wing, aren't they? I mean, that car is going to be absolutely... Oh, it's missing a front wheel. It's missing a front wheel as well, I've just noticed. No wonder it's floundering.
That is not the fastest way to get around. Wow, and that was what we talked about, it could easily go wrong around here, in our battle with 4 people has now gotten down to 2. And now it's going to be interesting to see if Jamie is going to push on, or Timur is in play.
I would imagine, looking at the championship, that they would let Nuttall come across the line in first, because obviously he is the closest battler at the moment with 108 points in the championship, running in second place. It would make sense to keep him there. Well, you say let him through, and obviously Giles run maybe possibly a more defensive run behind him. But at the moment, if Giles is feeling like the faster car, might as well let him keep guiding round Nuttall, and again Nuttall can regain sort of pace on the back straights and getting the slipstream.
True, and trying to see if they can get away from McDonald there, because slipstreaming these cars give you so much time. It's unbelievable, because they do have a little bit of downforce, but you just go through the wind so much that you do. And there's quite a lot of straights around here, so the slipstream is quite effective. As we see Evan here getting closer and closer, and I think it's his companion Christopher. He is in front of him at the moment.
Very, very different lines, aren't they? Like, hugely different lines. And, deciding to come into the pits, actually. I thought we were seeing him over-rotate, but no, decided not to. Giles just put in the fastest lap of the race currently with a 1:32.584. So he is obviously out there, and he is currently going much, much quicker than Jamie Nuttall, nearly 100th of a second in it, to be fair. So Nuttall may be only able to hang on to the back of him simply because he is in that slipstream. Car number 147 of Imre, that's into the pits. And he's back out again. A quick quick stop, but be interesting to see if that works. Quite an early pit stop, still over half an hour of the race left. Does give him a lot of clean air to race in, but it's not an overly packed grid anyway, so I don't feel like there was much advantage to be gained by pitting that much earlier.
Well, you know, if you are back here, and you know, you might as well get it over with. You've seen a couple of cars crashing and stuff like that, so might as well getting it done and just getting into his own paces. We actually see the leaders right now getting up to overtake our hurt student driver up here. It was a Husjak that crashed, and he's now getting the blue flags. Let's see if he's gonna let this guy by, or because iRacing doesn't actually have blue flags like you see in Formula 1 or in ACC, as we have streams for that particular game. In here it's more like you have faster cars approaching, maybe get out of the way. It can be a good idea, as he is just moving out of the way here.
I think that comes down, a lot of that as well, comes down to like racecraft, doesn't it? It's, you know, if it's a battle that you don't necessarily, but to be fair, diving back in between the two drivers there, I mean, that was a big old swoop to the left between the two of them, and I imagine that was a bit of a brown pants moment for Nuttall. Probably not what he expected as they went into the braking zone. And all of while that's been going on, George McDonald has been on an absolute charge over the space of the last lap and has closed up on them. So he'll be hoping to get past Carnival 76 nice and quickly, the back marker. And that was, I genuinely thought we were going to see Nuttall possibly have a bit of contact there, but no, managed to get away with it. Lucky to survive that one.
Yeah, and that's sometimes what can happen when you are unaware. You know, you're trying to let them by, and then suddenly you lose a little bit of concentration, and they're like, oh, I actually have to brake now. And I think it's what we saw here, but a guy that we need to see. Oh, where did our leader? Further on here, we have our pole position guy, early leader. Let's see if he can actually get back up there, and let's see if we can get this battle into a third again. And he went again very wide there. These drivers only have a certain amount of off tracks that they are allowed to actually have during a race. And if you have any contact or anything like that, that is a that counts as what we call in iRacing an X. And if you get, I think it's 17 X's, then you will get a drive-through in here. So it's you need to be careful.
Yeah, drive-through penalties are a driver's worst nightmare. Oh, here we go. Look, we can see in the background we've got George coming up on the back marker of Husjak. Be interesting to see if he moves out the way or not, or whether, you know, he does move off the racing line, but it's whether he gets his braking done. Yeah, does brake early, gives the position, nicely done. That was much cleaner that time around, although it looks like he might be sort of trying to take the position back again. I'm not sure. No, definitely does give the position over. That's a good shout. Going back to what you were saying about coming off the racing line to sort of give away a position, I know I sometimes find it if you're in a slightly longer race, or you end up sort of, you know, you're near the end of your stint and you've been lapping as fast as you can. Oh, here's a replay. Oh, over rotates. Oh, good catch. Really good save, and keeps out the tyres as well. I mean, out the wall. So well done to keep out the Armco. Good recovery there through turn one. That could have been messy.
Well done. That could have. Oh, it's just the same. Yeah, it just popped up here. I was like, did he crash more? But yeah. Great save. But yeah, keep on going. You're talking about.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know if you find this as well, but I tend to find if I'm doing a race, especially if it's slightly longer, and you're getting towards the end of the stint, you know your tyres are starting to go off a little bit, and then you almost sort of get yourself into a rhythm of like, all right, I'm not going to go 100% attack because I'm not gaining on the person in front. I just need to maintain. That is when I think more drivers have accidents, and I know personally that's when I have more accidents than when I'm going full attack and I'm in traffic. You almost get blasé, and you're thinking, all right, you end up going a little bit slower into a corner. Maybe it's only 5 miles an hour, but it's a big difference. It makes a big difference to your braking zone, and suddenly you brake in your normal spot. You suddenly find you're getting to the apex much earlier, so then you're off the throttle, or you're hitting the apex hard. Yeah, he could really mess with himself. Oh no, I'm going to stop talking because here we are. Nice little race here. Side by side, down into turn 2, I believe that was.
Ooh. Christopher going by Jeff here. I would say textbook overtaking, not too much of a battle here. I think Jeff might have been looking into his mirrors and thinking that that pass has been on the way for a couple of laps now, and Christopher is just going back into his groove and attacking, as we were talking about. But yeah, I do agree with you. You know, if you kind of if you stay behind and you just relax doing, you know, try to save fuel and stuff like that, as we actually see a change for the lead here. Oh my goodness, Liam, come on, Liam, battle for that one.
I reckon maybe that was a team orders, or do we think, because he's opened up the gap a lot, whether that was maybe a go slow penalty that maybe he was serving, because he did move off the racing line as well, didn't he? He moved way off the racing line. Nuttall didn't stay behind him, so that's the only thing I can presume.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope so, because you know, if you can win a race in the AOR League, you will try and win a race in AOR League. You know, you will push absolutely to the max. And just getting back to what we were talking about, you know, I'm going full out, full throttle all the way, pushing every lap, also in endurance racing, because if I stop, you know, then suddenly I make a mistake, stupid mistake, and then I lose a lot of time, or even worse, crash a little bit, and that's never a good thing. As we actually have an incident more. It's Guido, who has apparently had a little bit of a talk with, just got a little bit of understeer into the corner and corrected it to take it into the gravel and back onto the track. Quite nice to see.
Did he go to the pits to have the front end damage fixed or not? Is he still driving with that damaged front end?
No, it has been fixed, as we can see here. It is fixed. A thing that has been changed for this particular round is some of the drivers complained that, you know, if they had incidents early in the race, that they're then out of the race, because they will then have 15 minutes of repair. So they have a fast repair for this event.
Right, okay.
And Guido's is all the way at the back, but they do have a fast repair to get their stuff fixed, just so we can have, you know, more cars actually competing and finishing the race. As I think you are right, because Liam is not letting up here. He looks like the fast of the two. And then we have McDonald coming slowly up there and being like, "Hello, I'm still here."
I think when we look at like George McDonald's, obviously his finishes, you know, he's had 3 thirds, 2 seconds, and a 6th. It's obvious that it's just a very consistent driver. Actually, on board with him now. Very consistent. I say, like, Jamie Nuttall technically is a faster driver. He's had more pole positions, but he's had a DNF. And then again, even when we look down at Liam, his best finish so far this season has been a 4th. So technically might be a slower driver on track. I think, again, this is McDonald maybe going for like bagging points. Maybe he's looking forward and hoping that maybe the teammates are going to start squabbling. Although saying that, I was just saying he was sort of resting on his laurels a little bit and just doing safe laps. And he's just putting an incredibly low 132 lap.
Half a second faster than Jamie on the last lap. As we have a battle here for the lead. Will Liam go for the inside? No, he's staying behind. I'm not sure he's allowed to overtake here. As we will just try while they are getting off here. Look at an incident again. And this is Duvis. Let's see what has happened to him here. Oh, hitting the curb and then getting sideways.
Yeah, straight into the gravel. And that one, and then rotated, trying to get back on track quickly.
Oh, don't do that.
That's a dangerous spot. That's a very dangerous spot. That's a not the best rejoin, I don't think.
No, that could have been better. And now he gets safely onto the track. And that's the thing, you know, you are so caught up in that you want to get back and you want to, you know, trying and save the time you've just lost, and then you end up losing even more time, and that is what we saw right there. As this battle here is soon getting into a 3, and they are getting off tracks and off tracks. Oh, as Joe has been off apparently. What happened here, Joe? Oh, lack of concentration.
Just didn't steer. Yeah, just what happened there? I'm not sure.
We
or maybe
need
a
that
hardware issue. I'm not sure, but it just
different camera angle. Oh, and that is oh, he just hit the curbs.
yeah.
Oh,
Maybe the car went light at the front, and then steering input. He knew if he tried to, dart the car across the track, it wasn't necessarily going to keep it in a straight line. But sadly, ended up over rotating on the grass, and that was the end of that. So, yeah,
he's just steering out there. Oh,
bit of an odd one. Again, this is one of those things that you only really see in sim racing. Is a sort of hardware failure where it's either the steering wheel or the pedals. I mean, obviously in real life racing, you get engine failures, or wheels and things can suddenly come loose if they haven't been fitted correctly, which isn't something you'll get in game. But this is the equivalent of it, is sort of hardware failures. Goodness gracious, look how quickly George McDonald has caught up with the back of these two, and they're not squabbling these two at the front either. They're teammates. They should be working together realistically.
Liam passed Nuttall.
Okay, yeah.
Oh.
So I eat my words. These two are maybe having a bit of a squabble, or maybe they just know that Liam is pushing a lot quicker and it's better to let him go. I mean, championship points be damned, but whatever these two are doing, it is falling very much into the hand of McDonald, and he is catching up with the back of them, lickety-split quick, with still just under 20 minutes of the race left as well. We've seen George have a slowdown penalty and close that gap back up. It's more than doable again for him to push through and try and take away first position. And I think we might even see something here at the end of the straight.
Oh yeah, definitely. And he has been battling, quite, putting in fast lap times. He has been the fastest of the 3, so interesting to see. But also interesting to see if the other guys have been able to save fuel. As they are gonna have to pit at some point. We still have a pit stop, as he may be looking to the inside. A late dive. Oh, he was just having a little bit of a look, and as you saw there, the inside wheel just locked up, and it was never really a try and look for a pass, but it was just I am here, guys. You need to hurry up because I have the pace.
I think sometimes what you can do is, even if you know you're not necessarily going to go for the gap, is show the nose of the car down the inside, and that can unsettle the driver in front of you just enough that they make a little mistake. Maybe they brake a bit late, maybe they miss their apex, and then that completely throws them off the next corner. Both of these drivers going super wide here. Track limits be damned. George looked to be a little bit tighter there. Into turn 1, you have to be super brave. I don't think he's going to be close enough there, but he's definitely closer this time round. He is closing up on them. Oh, big
he's looking for it.
Huge dive. He gets there and
almost loses it. Wow.
Great save. That was a really strong save. These cars are not the easiest once they let go, and I think everybody there was pushing themselves to the absolute limit. I think Nuttall as well looked like he lost a bit of pace. Jar was managing to now pull away from everybody again. But yeah.
Nuttall made a little bit of an off there. He braked way too late, and now McDonald is all the way up back into to the rear of his car again. Wow, will he go for a dive bomb once again? Let's see in here. No, he just thinks about it. But what a move into turn 1, and luckily to actually get away with it, not ending in a crash.
I mean, the gap was there, though. Nuttall definitely didn't think that George was going to try it. The door was wide open, so, I mean, why not? And so, yeah, George McDonald decided to throw it up the inside. They both gave each other room. They gave each other respect. But, yeah, just not able to make it work. Just a slight over-rotation. Oh, here we are back with a replay. Oh, there we go. I think that car bottoming out, actually, as it hit the apex. It looked like he just suddenly, instantly lost all his grip. So I'm not sure whether that was a case of on the throttle too soon, or whether the car bottomed out. Maybe running it a bit too soft.
Oh, yeah. Well, if they are running too soft, the drivers here... Ooh, Wow, McDonald, you couldn't have gotten any closer unless you have been inside of his car right there. Going to the inside and getting the move done this time. But yet, they are on a fixed setup as well. So all of the drivers have the same setup. So you can't change anything. And that's a good thing for some and a bad thing for others. Because the setup might suit you or it might really hurt your driving style. So
it definitely adds to the ability to do more of a sort of arrive and drive kind of thing. And I have heard this about iRacing before compared to other games where the actual in-game setups aren't too bad. They're pretty good. You can pick up the game, you can race, the car doesn't feel awful. There are other games. I would say ACC, my normal one that I play, and I obviously commentate on as well. That one, if you don't have a decent setup, there's no point showing up to race. If you haven't got your tires set up for the right temperatures, there's not much point. You'll be way off the pace. Doesn't matter who you are. If you've got a bad setup, you're gonna have a bad race. So I think it is really nice. It just gives the opportunity that anyone can show up. You don't have to know so much about car setup. You just need to learn the car, and that's a good start to it, I think. Newman in the pit. How long has he been in the pit? Has he been there in a long time? It's kind of a nice
yeah.
Is that the one we saw join a lot of? Yeah, he went to the pit much earlier, didn't he?
Yeah, he was the one with the weird incident where he suddenly went to the right and just into the wall.
So maybe a hardware issue might have been along those lines, and maybe he's trying to sort of sort things out, and he's just sat there in the pits trying to get everything working once again.
It can be that you're looking at maybe trying to click in your pit stop strategy, or I need to only have this amount of fuel and stuff like that, and then suddenly you look to the left and you are on the curb, and then it bottoms out on the curb, and then you are just a passenger and into the wall with him. I think we're seeing more than that. I didn't really see a hardware issue, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, post crash, you could see the steering wheel inputs were still there, weren't they? And I mean, it didn't look like it was necessarily sort of a throttle issue. I mean, I think we've all seen it a few times where drivers suddenly are flying towards a corner, they have no brakes, and they're absolutely pinning it towards somewhere. But that's usually that the hardware is just disconnected. But I have had it once on a stream. Actually, one of my friends, a gentleman called Mike Tucker, who is he's done a bit of racing in all different places. He had a proper hardware fail where his load cell in his pedal snapped, the mounting bolts in it. He put his foot on the brake, and there was this almighty bang that everyone heard through his headset, and he had no brakes whatsoever. Somehow managed to avoid the traffic, and but he had nowhere to go. But that was it, race done, because his pedal went to the floor. Oh, big slide. That's not good.
That's the second slide he has. Yeah, I think that was the second slide he had, and get in there, get the tires, tire temperature under control. Sometimes what you can do in these pit stops, because once the tire temperature's up there, these will just be really, really, really ice to drive on with the tires, and a horrible experience. So get in, get the pit stop, get your minds back again, because we have seen him 2 times spinning in the corner that we're getting into right now, and just what he's doing is he just hits that curb a little bit, and that just unsettles the car, and suddenly the rear end is just having a field day. And that's something that you really want. But yeah, with the story about stuff that goes wrong, I've had an incident where I was turning, and then suddenly I was sat with my wheels in my hand, or with my wheel in my hand, because the clamp for my table broke in a 24-hour race, and then I still had to do, I think I did 5 or 6 laps, and then went into the pits. But that was also a little bit of an issue there, and you just sat there with your hands or with your wheel in your hand, and you're like, this had to be on the table. As we see McDonald go for the inside. Oh, there was a little bit of contact there. Oh, being naughty there. Had to respect the two guys. Liam just getting pushed out of the way, and well, new leader.
I thought we were going to possibly see George relinquish that position. Maybe he kind of felt that he didn't move. Maybe he felt like he kept his wheels straight, and so didn't feel like he needed to give it back. But yeah, there was definitely a little bit of rubbing there. It was, I think it was his front left versus the front right there. I mean, the rear right of Giles. So yeah, we have to see how that one goes post-race. I think these two have been racing fairly cleanly, and I think it's fairly... I think George is very much the faster of these two drivers this lap round. There we go, the on-board. We get the shot. Well, there's a little touch. It is a tiny little touch there.
Yeah,
but
I think it's fair.
Yeah, I didn't think that was intentional. There definitely wasn't a left steering input by George there to close across. So, I mean, you know, I'm sure they could discuss it in the Discord afterwards. A quick shout out to the Discord. Anyone that is interested in the racing that's here this evening, or wants to either A, watch more of this, or B, wants to get involved, and do feel free to get involved. There's battles all across the grid. This is the main one we're keeping an eye on, but there are battles all throughout and different skill levels. Do join the Discord, and the links should all be available in the YouTube description below this video, and obviously a link to the Discord. So yeah, feel free. And there we go, at the top of the screen as well. Look at that. Sign up at apexonline.racing. It's a really well put together website. It is mobile friendly as well, which is a huge bonus in this day and age. Yeah, so obviously we are keeping a fairly good eye on our leaders. I want to give a quick shout out to car number 54, of Joy. One, because he's my friend, and two, because he started off quite near the back. I think opening lap, he was pretty much at the back of the grid after turn one. Don't think he qualified right at the back. I think he had a bit of a poor start, but just through clean racing, has managed to get himself up to 8th place. So a few positions gained, simply because he's managed to keep his nose clean, his powder dry, and kept going, which is really good. He has got Alan behind him, but there's a decent gap. He's not having to defend. He's just pushing forward, and yeah, he's just nice to see. Just going well. And
saw Liam. No. Oh, and then it just went off. Sorry to cut you off there. I just saw.
Absolutely fine. You got to stick with the action.
Oh,
and something's happened as well. Actually, Alan and Joy have just changed positions. So I'm not sure what happened there, but something happened.
Oh, just as we cut off, and I think Joy. He's going very slow here. Oh, I think that might be a slowdown penalty. Yeah,
he's either a slowdown penalty or he's running out of fuel. Looks like a slowdown penalty. He moved off the racing line, didn't he? Bit of a shame because he was going great guns. So loses one position, but who knows? He might be able to pull it back.
Oh, I think he will, because Sven just crashed up here into turn 1, and there we see them getting by. And actually, Joy was getting passed by the leader as well.
Again, McDonald goes through. Lovely liveries in game. There are some beautiful liveries in this game.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, not just custom. Some of the standard ones as well are really cool. But yeah, I think it definitely does. This game definitely benefits from the fact there's a lot of freedom as to what you can do with liveries. It's really cool. It's lovely to see. Not a lot of bodywork to paint on these cars, but we are seeing some fantastic liveries. I will admit, I do really love the cars of Giles and Nuttall. I do think those liveries are fantastic. And,
oh yeah. Well, see, that's where we differ a little bit as a designer here. I'm not a huge fan. They are better than a default livery, but you know, the black and white. It is a driving cow right there for me, with a weird sticker on the side. But yeah, I am a man of liveries, so this is a touchy subject.
I say, yeah, because obviously as part of the AOR community, you are involved and very much in charge of a lot of the skin packs, aren't you? So
yeah,
you live and breathe by the livery.
I do. I was the the creative the way that AOR is doing skin packs in ACC. Just to actually, how you should gather and how you should name and actually getting all of that working. Used a lot of my time for that. I also did it with for iRacing as well. And you have a lot of benefits. iRacing do have an amazing program that is a third party, which a lot of these drivers use for paints. You can upload them and it automatically looks, alright, who is on the server and do we have a livery for them? Then it will automatically download all of those from the website via this program. But if you do it manually, and if we can get a skin pack up and running, I will show you stuff that I can do with all these cars. It's quite amazing. As we actually have Evan here running one of my creations. The helmet that Evan is using at the moment is inspired from Sir Lewis Hamilton's helmet, and then I've changed it up and made it Evan's own design.
As we said, it's a pretty damn cool helmet. And just a little cheeky little bit of a branding there at the bottom. Just see a little cheeky AOR there.
Yeah, exactly, and well, it has to be updated because he is also using an old sponsor, so it has been quite a while since I've done it. I actually think this car is so old that I'm not sure Evan even knows that he actually have that helmet on. That's how it goes sometimes.
I have had a couple of racers say that now that they know this is going out on streams, they're like, "Oh, maybe I'll change my helmet or I'll change the livery on the car over time," sort of thing. Pretty sure that our top 3 drivers have completed their. Well, actually, no. I think our top 2 drivers have. I don't think Wolfgruber has pitted yet. I might be wrong on that. Carnival 14.
No, Christopher did. I think he pitted quite early because we saw him having that incident with Evan, where Evan just decided to just knock him all the way out of the track in turn 1. And
maybe
he's just
the super early pit stop was the way to go. Having clean air most of the race. Only thing is going to be obviously his tires are much older. They're like 20 minutes older than everyone else.
Well, they actually. I don't think they are changing tires because it takes longer than actually just only having to fuel. Because as you see here, they have the 4-second fuel. The cars are made so they can almost do the entire race without a pit stop. But they just need a little bit of fuel in the tank. But we are missing a driver. Why? Oh, Liam. Oh, yeah, that's... Liam had an incident as well. That is, I have him here. Liam in P6. He will be gutted after this performance, to be fair.
Yeah,
I think he would.
Obviously...
Yeah, he would have gone away from this battle with a lot more than a P6.
Yeah, qualified really well and really did hold his own for a large portion of the race, and actually, sort of showing that he was the quicker of the 2 drivers out of him and Nuttall. So, that cracked racing team, was showing an amazing pace. But, just maybe this is the thing of, like I said before, that it's that thing that George McDonald has managed to do in this championship where he's sort of stayed consistent and clean and hasn't had any incidents. And sometimes you can have absolutely amazing pace, but if you can't do it consistently, that's when things get a little bit dicey.
Yeah, and George started P4 as well. Qualifying pace isn't everything. Being there at the end, that is really what counts. But we have seen George, a slowdown penalty and almost losing it in turn 1. Now fighting a back marker, that can be difficult because getting straight back there. Oh, let's hope he's not braking. Sometimes I've had guys who are back markers trying, braking because they wanted to let you by, and then had huge crashes because of that, but he got by really well there. But what we are seeing now is just the drivers doing, there's only about 2 laps left. So just going around here, getting the timer down. There's quite a big gaps between them, but the 2 guys who hit each other at the beginning, Evan and Chris, they are P3 and P4 as Liam and Andres. Oh, we have a battle here for P6, P5, and Liam, he is the faster of those 2, no doubt about it. But oh, Andres, you would have loved to keep that position. He's going on to the outside. Can he get a last minute battle the under? No, I think that is done and dusted, to be fair, because of Liam's pace. Oh, it's going to the inside again. No, he will relinquish that. But yeah, I think that undercut has really paid off as well. Evan, Christopher, and P3, P4. That's quite good for them. Quite a good recovery.
Yeah, after obviously that incident at the beginning of the race, it does show maybe just how much these battling drivers have been slowing each other down. Obviously there we saw these incidents early in the race. But yeah, no, really good to see that everyone sort of managed to pull it back and absolutely recover. Just looking now, actually, look at the sort of the current lap times. I think this should be the last lap of the race. I'm not sure where our leader is. They're in sector 2 at the moment. Yeah, they're not going to make it to the line in 20 seconds. So I would presume at this point this is the final lap. So George McDonald, if he can keep it all together, seems to have held it pretty well. Nuttall, I think, is going to hang on to second place, bar any incidents. I don't think he'll probably push too hard to get past the back marker in front. He's got a nice gap behind him. Wolfgruber, or Christopher Wolfgruber. You're probably going to tell me I'm absolutely butchering that name.
Oh, see, that is why I say Christopher. Or just cut it down, Chris. Chris in the car number 14. Then you're safe.
I'm a glutton for punishment. I can't help myself.
That's where it is.
It's one of those things. It's one of those things that just sometimes. Oh, someone's just dived into the pit. Or dove into the pits at the very last minute, and it's definitely not the end of the race quite yet. This is it. This is the checkered flag. George comes across, takes away pole position. Nuttall should be there very soon. There he is, coming across the line as well in second. And where is Christopher? Here he goes. Oh, very wide in that last lap. But yeah, there we go. He can afford to have a slowdown now. Comes across the line.
P3. Right there. And, great recovery. I didn't think that, and I think he wouldn't have imagined that after. Oh, it's Liam. Liam went off. What happened here? I see in my... Oh, Liam. I think Liam got disqualified for having too many off tracks. I think that is what we saw right there. Oh my goodness me.
On the final corner.
On the final
corner. Oh, that is absolutely gutting. And that's one of those things where you sort of think to yourself, oh, it's fine. I've still got a track cut or not, off track. I've got a couple of them left. Let's just push. But no, and he obviously just pushed that little bit too far. It does happen. Yeah, but there we go. And it can happen right there as well. So there we go. Position gained again. So Joy actually goes up to second. As Giles is out. Oh, sorry, seventh. Sorry. Reading a 7 as a 2 then is probably not the best move.
No. And it's quite, I would rather have a 2 than a 7 position.
I'm not sure Nutter would say the same. I'm not sure Nutter would be quite so happy that Joy took away.
That's true.
But, it's been said out loud now, so that's it. We're going to go in, we're going to change the results.
Yeah, that's true.
That's definitely how it works. We have that power.
Yeah, well, we are commentators after all, so of course we have that power. But here is the result. It is Gregor McDonald who will win this main race, the first race of the evening, in front of Jamie Nuttall, and then we have Christopher in P3. That is our top 3, the podium positions. Evan will get P4, but let's see after the stewards room if we will get a bigger, penalty for that dive bomb. Then we have Andres in P5, Jeff P6, Dominic joined P7. Then we have Liam, who I think got disqualified there. Let's see what happened. In P8, Steven P9, and then we have Guido P10. And the last page here is Husjak, who is in P11. Then we have Juvis, who we saw had a little bit of incidents with the curbs, not really complying with them, and he ended his race 8 laps before. And then we had Joy Newman having that weird crash, and it, yeah, I still don't really get what happened there, and we can discuss it until the end of time. I think really only Joy can say what really happened there, and we can just maybe have a look. See, he's just going wide and keeping it, and try to save it here, and then the rear suspension just completely gets taken off, and wow, yeah, interesting. But that is the end for race 1, and we will in a few moments be back on the track with a sprint race, a 20-minute sprint race where these drivers in the past have given us some amazing battles. So we will see you right there. Hello everybody and welcome back to the sprint race. This is gonna be amazing. The drivers have one lap to do a qualifying to get the grid for the sprint, and it's only 20 minutes, so it's so important to where you are. And after the first round we've seen there's like a couple of guys, 4 or 5 guys up there who can really fight for it. And it's gonna be interesting to see if, some drivers maybe after the first race will be like, I can get away with more from that one. So this is gonna be great.
Yeah, I definitely think it's a case of in a sprint cup as well. Well, it's in a sprint race. If you're thinking to yourself, oh, I don't want to have an incident because then I'll end up sat out for like sort of, half an hour, 45 minutes in a sprint cup. If you're going to push a bit harder, you've got there's less to lose, if you know what I mean. Especially some of maybe the guys that are a little bit lower in the championship, they haven't got as many things to lose. Someone like McDonald, Nuttall, and Evan, they've all got a lot to lose this evening. But some of the other drivers, they can sort of think, I've got 20 minutes. Let's absolutely throw everything out there, give it an absolute monstrous go, and see what they can do. And here we are, actually, Jamie Nuttall starting his flying lap. Lovely onboard shot as well. I love this sort of halo position.
Yeah, it really gives a look of where the driver are, but we are a lot higher than the drivers at the moment, and he's taking quite a lot going into that turn one, but making that corner, opening it up as well. He's braking on the curbs here, and we have seen a lot of the drivers doing that, and there are still some grip out there, but you can so easily unsettle the cars. And as we saw, incidents, if you get an off track, then you have no more bullets in the chamber. You have one lap going in. Downhill is so difficult to get it into that corner. The car want to get out, you want to get in there, and it gets so light into these next 2 left-handers. These are horrendous to get through because it's off camber, and again the car don't want to go into the as you just get a little bit of a oversteer. Save it by the curb. You can hit this curb and actually go faster through it than you think, getting onto that curb who has killed one today. So we saw Joy getting on there, getting into the last 2 corners. Don't get off track. Oh, he's getting very wide there. See, and I think he might have gotten off track. Let's see if he's qualifying here. Counts, and it will be a 1:33.2. Wow, what a lap.
Yeah, I think absolutely stretched that lap as wide as he possibly could, didn't he? I mean, there was absolutely nothing left on the table. That is the joy of these 1 lap qualifying. So you get your out lap to get the tyres up to temperature as soon as you could. We saw him super aggressively weaving. So then to come into your actual flying lap and give it absolutely everything on the table all at once.
And it wasn't off track. It wasn't off track. He didn't complete a time, and McDonald has now put in the fastest lap with 55 thousandths of a second faster than Newman. That's not a lot. And then we have Andreas here just crawling it back. Let's see if he can get a decent position here, and well, he will de facto be P3, or yeah, there it is official. Even though he's slower, he actually completed a lap time, and that is what you need around here.
I just noticed he had the Lightning McQueen helmet, didn't he, as well?
Yeah.
I do love that. So yeah, shout out to Lightning McQueen. My 2-year-old son loves him. Ka-chow.
Oh. So yeah, well, who doesn't?
Exactly.
And now he's P4. You can say that to him. Look at what your daddy's commentating on. He's commentating on Lightning McQueen. Ooh, as Christopher's really pushing it as well. And Christopher has gotten an off track as well. So this lap time will not count as well. As who's Jack? I think. Oh, he is not on. We only had 4 cars actually putting in a lap time, and that is what these off tracks actually gives us. As we just have the cars now gridding up here, and it will be if we can just get this on fast. It will be Gregor, then Joy, Jeff, Andreas. We have Evan, Jamie. Then we have Liam, Christopher, Joy. We have Guido, Hushak, and Jarvis. Yes, in P12. Yeah. And then we have Steven in P13. So, a lot of cars out there who have gotten their positions, but also a lot who are not really happy with where they are.
No, I think our pole and second place driver, McDonald and Newman, those two are kind of, that's pace-based positioning. And then I would say that Hancock's and Ansu, maybe that's, maybe more due to the fact that some of the other drivers had some bad laps and they've sort of filled the positions. But I mean, they're no slouches themselves. But I think it'd be interesting to see what happens with the front row of the grid. I feel like they may be able to just run away with this one.
And we are racing. And there goes the start. And we have all of the drivers. This is a standing start. It's so difficult. As we have Joy going onto the inside. Will he get it in there? No. Gregor got around here. Let's see if everybody gets around turn 1. They did. What amazing that they all got away with that. But we have Jamie down here. And we have Liam on the other side. P5 and P7. They are gonna be having a struggle getting up there into to the positions where they will feel like they should be here at the beginning of the race.
Yeah, they're going to take a couple of laps to get past those drivers in front. I mean, even if they can, I mean, they say they are absolutely neck and neck with each other. They're so incredibly close. It's only going to take a mistake from one of them to take both of them out in one hit. So a bit risky running that close together. Is it on board quickly now as well with Joy, who is currently holding on to his position, running in 9th, just inside the top 10. But all over the back of Wolfgruber. There's Christopher there, holding on to a little bit unsettled there from Joy. Just maybe a slight little bit of oversteer. So the tyres will still be fairly untested at this point. And it's always a little bit nerve-wracking when you're sort of in the aero wash of the cars in front. You think, oh, it's fine, I'm getting the drag, and so you think you get better straight-line speed, but you get less front-end grip and rear-end grip as well through the turns. So you do have to be a little bit careful. Very easy to suddenly get lots of understeer and go flying off. Everybody ignoring track limits here on lap 1.
Yeah, and it's, yeah. You know, and the funny thing is, you know, if there was a wall there, they wouldn't do that.
You say that, but look at Spa. Look at Spa. You know, Arouge. That's a corner that.
Oh, is that going 3 wide here? That's not a place to do that. Oh, you know, Jamie and Liam are just trying to see if they can get through the crackers here, as they have on the outside of Andreas, and Christopher saying no, I don't want to give you guys the position there. And as we saw Evan going off as well. Everything is just happening right here. Lap 2, wow. Guys, can you just let us be allowed to actually commentate on this as well?
Just a small breather would be nice. As I said, though, I think P1 and P2 have absolutely booked their flight and they are out of here. So while everyone's squabbling around here for third position, and just look now, the 2 drivers there for Cracked Racing, we thought they might be able to push forward, but they can't because there's so much racing going on around them. They're not able to break away and get a bit of a gap. They're very much in the squabble, and they're doing a bit of a messy job. They were trying to work together for a little while, but now 3 wide.
Oh, this is...
Goodness gracious. Like a swarm of bees going through here.
This is just an accident that is just, you know, waiting on happening. As Evan has just lost a huge amount of position. And that's a slowdown for Evan right there. And he's getting positioned. And oh, Jamie got a slowdown as well. Oh my goodness me. Everything's just happening here.
Yeah, oh! Cars are slowdowns and an incident in front as well. I think Joy is going to be the one to benefit from this the most. Oh, there was a crash in the background. Definitely saw a car go off in the back. Not sure who that was.
It was Steven. Oh, we have just seen him going through way too much speed into turn 1 there. So Oh, not what you
sometimes.
really wanted. But see, just,
No.
you know, Evan was fighting for P3. Now he is P9 in 1 lap due to a slowdown. And that is what it will give you going so wide and getting these off tracks. As he trying to go onto the inside here of Jeff, and Jeff just slams the door, and there's no way for Evan. As we have a car going off there. I think it was Husiak who was having a little bit of the wrong way there. Getting back on track here. See Evan now up into P8. There's just everything is going on here. It's incredible, guys.
And here we go, another example of just trying to keep your nose clean and just keeping on putting in those clean laps. Joy now up to 6th place, so loads of positions gains. I don't think he actually put in a qualifying lap or a clean qualifying lap anyway. He didn't appear on there, and he was quite a way down the grid, but now up into 6th place, and he's got a lot of cars squabbling behind him. I think realistically, as long as he can keep it clean, and he's definitely well within track limits there compared to his competitors. Although Newman now takes away pole position and has put in the fastest lap of the race.
Oh yeah, that is a change for the lead. What has gone on there? Let's look up here. I think that has changed further back, and it's just a simple getting up there and past. And we also saw Newman on pole position in race 1, so let's hope that it's not his wife who will lose him this race this time, as we have heard that was in fact real life, you know, distractions that that cost him in the race early on, as Liam is still trying to see if he can get by. And this is Andreas that he's battling for that P4 position, and he is... Oh, there's a crash behind us! There's a crash behind us!
Was that Nuttall that went off? I think it was Nuttall that went. I saw him tumbling down the order. Yeah, he goes to the inside.
Oh!
That was choppy.
I think Husiak is the one to blame here. Oh no, he's up there. Who was it that he actually was battling with? Oh, it was Jeff. He was just locking the door, Jeff, and he's just... Yeah, that is moving on the braking, and nothing Jamie or Evan could do right there.
No, see, Nuttall had already completely, Jamie Nuttall had gone in. He'd chosen his line. He knew where he was going to brake. And once you've chosen your braking point and you're already on the brakes, if someone suddenly closes the door in front of you, there is nothing you can do. You're along for the ride at that point. And so, yeah, real shame. He'll obviously now be carrying damage as well. It's a fast driver, but his luck this season appears to be going away from him.
Yeah, definitely. And this is not what you want. You know, if you want a championship season to go, and he's going on the inside of Evan, and Evan is just letting him by right there. But this is not what you want. But again, he pushed so hard on the qualifying to get that pole position, and it has cost him at the end, being in the middle of this huge battle that we had at the beginning. And you know, crashes happens, and nothing he could really do there. Just what happens when you're in the midfield.
Yeah, midfield racing, it's always going to be that way, especially with this slightly mixed grid. Let's say, obviously we've got some very, very fast racers, some alien spec racers at the very pointy end of the grid, and then some sort of, still very well accomplished racers here in the midfield. But it is, you are sometimes a bit of a fish out of water. You're not expecting, Jamie really pushing hard. Oh, no, sorry, this is not Jamie, is it? I'm sorry, we were on board there.
It's Liam.
Liam at that point. So it's the liveries. They're exactly the same, so it's hard to tell.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, teammate, makes sense to have matching liveries, but sometimes when you're quickly flicking around, it gets a bit confusing. But yeah, going very, very wide there in the final turn. Luckily, didn't catch anything. Oh, here we go though. George McDonald, after putting in the fastest lap of the race, is now closing right up on the back of Newman. Is it a case that maybe that Newman just... George just takes a little bit longer to get those tyres sort of switched on, get comfortable with the car, and into the racing mode. So, sometimes some drivers need a little bit more time before they feel fully comfortable with the car on track. So, be interesting to see how this one keeps going, sort of as we're in this mid stage of the race now. 11 minutes of the race left.
Yeah, I think you're right, and then again, you know, if these drivers, as he's going off, we just saw Joe going a little bit off there. Wow, you know, really pushing it out there. Be sure to have the wife out of the room when you're driving. They will only put you into harm's way. But I think it's just a case of, you know, slipstreaming as well. We talked about it early on, you know. And with these guys, I think the gap between them is so small that slipstreaming is just what is the difference maker here. As we see McDonald going, he's now setting it up for the attack, just having a little bit of look, and he will then go back in again. But we actually have a couple of crashes as well. But we will stay on this battle just for the moment, because up here into turn 3 is a overtaking opportunity, and he's going onto the inside and is into the braking zone. He's not even close onto the inside there, and he will stay behind for now.
Yeah, I think obviously the really late braking move there to try and hold on to pole position from Newman, and it worked.
No!
That was
Wow.
a huge incident. Oh, and no holding of the brakes either, it would appear from that one. That was that Druvis?
Yeah, Druvis and Sven.
Yeah. That's a huge crash.
Wow. And we have had one with Jeff as well. Oh, just that turn 1. Oh, up to the... Yes, that's a classic one. Classic turn 1. Yeah.
Oh, I think Nuttall might have just had another incident as well. I think I just watched him drop down the timing order.
Oh, yeah. See, he's driving slowly. What has happened with Donald? Oh, I think he's just braked way too late and into the gravel. Kitty Little right there with him and back onto the track. As we will go back up into the battling positions for P1. As we have Gregor and Joy Newman fighting it out. And as we talked about early on, you know, with these helmets that is actually displayed on our overlay, I think Joy would be wise to find a new one for next season. That is a horrendous piece of helmet design right there. Horrendous.
I can only imagine that's meant to be Kenny from South Park. From the side, it's not that obvious, but I think it's probably Kenny from South Park.
I believe so too. But still, it's ridiculous. Oh, as Nautilus in the pits. I think he has pushed a bit too much here. Oh, getting it all wrong and into the kill leader again. And I think that, yeah, he has decided that is his day over, and he will park it up and get away from here without any points for this sprint race. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it does happen. I mean, with a slightly smaller grid, it would have made sense to maybe keep going, even if you sort of just get yourself inside the points. Any points are worthwhile taking away from this. But yeah, it has not been the race meeting for Nuttall this time around, has it? It's really been a bit of a sting, really.
Yeah.
But this battle for first is still going on, and to be fair to the two of them, some pretty respectful driving. We could have seen some absolutely horrendous moves between them. No one's overly driven defensive, no one's been overly aggressive. It's just the two of them sort of trying to just outrace each other nice and cleanly. And to be fair, some real good old school liveries on here, isn't it? The old. I mean, I'm not saying that smoking is a good thing by any means, but the liveries that came out of that era were absolutely fantastic. You know, you look at like the old John Player special livery, which was always fantastic. That black and gold. I mean, the Lucky Strike one as well. That's actually obviously an HSBC livery as well on Newman's car. But I mean, just the liveries you used to see were so good. They were amazing back in the day. You know, some real classic liveries.
And now they're just all black because they're trying to save weight. You know, it's just ridiculous. Even, you know, the Ferrari one with its amount of black up on the side because of, you know, weight saving, not even because of the design. So yeah, I do agree with you. It does say Honda on the car. I don't think it's a Honda. This is a Delar built car, built from the ground up in iRacing for iRacing. and it has now been officially recognized from the FIA as the FIA Formula 4 car. Ooh, as Joe is getting as Joe is getting a little bit wide there, and this battle keeps on going. But yeah, this is actually an official car this time, as we have Evan here trying to defend from Huitzek, and they have had a little bit of a battle going on and been into the wars today. So interesting to see if these can get away without any more small dents into their cars this evening.
Just noticed on the side of I think it's Imran. Oh no, sorry, not Imran's. Huziak's car. Obviously it says student driver, and then it says something underneath it as well, and I can't quite read what it says. I can't work out if it's like I'm freaking out or something like that. But there's something written there on the side of the car. I can't quite read.
I need to find it. Yeah, I'm freaking out.
I'm freaking trying. Nice. Fair enough. Be patient on the rear wing there as well. To be fair, doing really well out there this evening. You know, obviously it's a joke. It's the joke livery, I would only presume. But yeah, definitely putting in some decent laps. A ninth position is nothing to be sniffed at.
No, it's better than Nuddle today. Just the stat there, you know, and better than not really appearing. Oh, I'm getting my cameras all wrong there. Ooh, as McDonald is getting closer and closer and closer. He only has 4 minutes left to do it. Now he's going for the inside into turn 1. Let's see, can he get it done? He do overtake there and is safe on the exit. We have seen earlier on today trying that exact move and then spinning almost and saving it before winning into the grass, because grass on iRacing is like driving on ice. That is the amount of grip that you have out there.
They're really lucky there. He did get his tyres all the way out to that sort of that risen curve, that sausage curve on the exit. He just clipped it. So managed to obviously just modulate the throttle just enough to not rotate the car. But yeah, we've seen lots of cars go off there, going slightly defensive into the braking zone here. So he doesn't obviously feel comfortable that his outright pace yet is going to be enough to escape Newman. And obviously Newman now having the advantage of being in the slipstream. And Newman does have a little look to the inside, maybe trying to unsettle McDonald's. And has it worked? I don't think so. I think just for now, McDonald's is going to hang on to it. And they both throw the car in. So much trust that the tyres are going to stick. Avoiding the gravel just about as they come into the end of this sector 3.
Newman is getting off tracks, and he's really pushing, and he needs to be careful because the amount of off tracks that you need to get in this particular race before. Oh, McDonald went all the way off there, and Newman just got that. That was the wrong button. Wow, he got that position right into the final corner, and that's how fast it can change in this race. McDonald has to now push to get back again after all the work he did early on in the race, and now he is back there. Ooh, as Joy, I think Joy lost the position.
That looked like it was on the pit straight, so I wonder if maybe that was a slowdown penalty. Oh no, that was out of the final turn, so obviously just...
Ooh, that's some aggressive defending right there. Oh, he just slowed down and didn't go for the move at the end anyway. So
I think maybe he was thinking to himself, it's better to finish in sixth place than it is to not finish at all with damage. With 2 minutes left of the race, you know, sort of having damage at this point and dipping out would not be good. As the racing driver Tom Ingram once said, it's better to have a pointsy weekend than a winning weekend. So take from that what you will, but it's better to earn points than it is to get on the podium once. If you can get points across both races, it's a better way to do it.
But also to finish first you have to finish. That's exactly. That is also a great one, as McDonald again. Now that's still with those off tracks that they're close. I don't think either of them didn't get a slowdown, as We see Newman is now weaving down the straights and trying to get that toe off. I think we are on our last lap, guys. So this will be the battle to the end, and we will keep on here. There's a lot of gaps between the other drivers, but this is the battle for the lead in this particular race.
Yeah, I think definitely keeping an eye on this pole battle. And again, it really closes up McDonald on one final charge now. I mean, Newman will be thinking the same. He's not going to give him an inch. He will try and defend as wide as possible. I think it will definitely be elbows out into the braking zone, even if he knows he can't necessarily outpace McDonald, as long as he can cover off the track and sort of kill the momentum of George as he comes through, then he can hang on to the position. So might see some very tactical driving here from car number 97. As it's not dirty to hold up your opponent. It's absolutely fine. As long as you're not doing excessive weaving or ridiculous brake checking and things like that, it is okay to sort of, make your car wide and slow down in places to sort of, avoid any advantages. But I think he's going to hang on to it, to be fair. I think Newman's got this one. Don't think George has now got time or is close enough to really do anything, unless there is a mistake here through the final turn or final corners.
Oh, it will be a sprint to the finish. That going neck and neck, but it will be Newman who will win in ahead of McDonald at the checkered flag. And we get Christopher getting P3, Liam P4. And then we have Andreas P5 and Joy getting that P6 right there. He will be great. That's a good tally of points. Guido P7, Euros P8, and Evan almost gets him in the end there. But he will be P9. And we have Jeff getting here with he was a bit into the walls or into the walls. We saw that incident, but he was moving on the braking, so I think that will go to the stewards. But see, he will get over the line in P10. And then we have Steven, who's still going even after with that huge incident that we saw earlier on, where he lost the rear wing and got crashed out by Davius. So he will be our last man across the start finish line here. See if he can actually do it without having off tracks or anything here at the end. Just a good thing to get all our guys over the finish line. I like having that, and that right there, ladies and gentlemen, is the sprint race. The final results for the final race of the evening, and for this amazing round here at Spielberg, it is Joe Newman who will take P1. Ahead of Gregor McDonald, who is with only 1/10 behind. That's a close one. Christopher P3, Liam P4, Andreas P5, Dominic Joy in P6, Guido P7. Then it will be Hojsjak in P8. Then we have Evan P9. Evan is a guy who will think I could have gotten more out of this race. Then Jeff P10. Then we have Steven in P11. We saw him come across the line. And then Jamie and Davies is our non-finisher for this race.
Yeah, it's been a fantastic race. I'm hoping that we might get... Yes, here we go. I had a quick dive into some of the streams and in the Discord, and I've managed to actually get one of our drivers to join us for a post-race interview.
Wow.
Are you in a position where you're ready for me to pull someone in, Domino?
Yeah, let's do it.
Fantastic. So I've managed to... I jumped onto Twitch, I found George McDonald, and I'm going to drag him in for a chat. Obviously, had a great racing evening this evening. So let's pull him in, and we'll have a quick chinwag with him. Good evening, George. Can you hear us?
Hey, how's it going, Tim? Yeah, I can. Loud and clear.
Fantastic. Good both races for you this evening. Saw you battling at the pointy end pretty much the entirety of both races. How did it all feel for you out there this evening?
Sweaty. I'm exhausted after that. It was I thought I was out of it in the first race. Ended up I got a when I was in the thick of it, ended up picking up a slowdown and having to drop back, and then had a couple of little errors and wasn't sure if I'd get back into it, but just managed to grab hold of the toe, which got me closer to them and back into the fight. And yeah, it was good. I was worried Jamie was going to come back at me at the end, but just managed to hold him off, I think.
Amazing stuff, amazing stuff. So, with a couple of your championship contenders not having the greatest race, are you now looking? Are you looking good for that championship? Do you think it will come home to you, or are you just taking it a race at a time at the moment?
Well, you've got to keep pushing, haven't you? It's I think it's the super cliche is that obviously to finish first, you first have to finish, and I think I'm still I'm the only person that's actually finished every single race so far. So I think that possibly has something to do with it. But yeah, just gonna keep pushing. And it's nice to be at the sharp end, as you mentioned earlier, Tim. So I still just want to keep fighting and try and keep on the podium every time, really.
Well, I think you've had before this meeting, you'd had 3 third places and 2 second places, and a 6th place. So yeah, and you are actually sort of essentially the only racer I think on the list that has managed to complete every single race and get to the line. So it may be cliche, but we did even mention it in the stream that to finish first, you first have to finish. So I think it's been a textbook case of showing what can be done if you sort of keep your nose clean and keep the racing, sort of keep yourself out on track and getting it done. So yeah, at the moment, definitely going to stay as the championship leader. I'm not good enough at maths to work out how many points you've got now. But you had 124 coming into this weekend, and so obviously then you've gained a load more points. So a great Friday night's racing for you it has been.
Yeah, definitely. I'm really pleased with that. It was a bit coming into today. It was a bit of a case of always the bridesmaid, never the bride, and then that new the chap that took the win in the second race, Joe Newman, came in. It's his first race, and then he stuck it on pole in race 1. I was like, oh god, okay. So the 5K guys dropped off, and then we've got more competition at the front. So yeah, I wasn't sure if I'd get the win, and I thought I was going to get the win in the second race, but it was a silly mistake. Managed to pass him, and then I knew I was quicker through the last 2 corners, or had been for the previous couple of laps. And I think I just put too much pressure on myself. I thought, well, this is exactly where I'm going to win and lose the race, and then I lost it on that on that corner, unfortunately. So, but yeah, it was just like I was trying to all the time during that race. I was looking at the gap to Wolf Gruber behind, acutely aware that obviously the more we fight, the more he's going to come into it. So I was just trying to race my head as well, and I was just waiting for like more obvious opportunities rather than just battling him every corner, because it's never worth it. So that helped us like sort of secure that gap to P3, and I was hoping I'd at least come away with P2, which I did. So yeah, really happy with that.
Fantastic. Thank you ever so much for joining us in the booth this evening. Obviously, you've got Circuit of the Americas coming up next. Bit of an odd track, I would say, for GT4 cars. I'm sorry, F4 cars. Apologies. But yeah, how are you feeling going forward into that? As confident as you were this evening, or?
Well, I'd already at the beginning of the season, I had signed out of that race because I don't own it.
There we go.
And I thought, nah, I'm not interested. I'm not going to bother with that, and I'm not going to buy it unless I'm in the fight. Yeah, so I guess that's just
credit card will be coming out tonight then.
$15 or whatever it is, and I have to make a purchase. But yeah, I've only ever raced it, obviously not on this, but GT3s on ACC, and it's I'm just trying to imagine. It feels like quite a big track to race these little cars on. They've got quite a lot of aero. I feel like it's going to be sort of quite a lot of flat out, but it should hopefully create some good overtaking opportunities, especially in that long back straight and the like multi-apex final few corners. So it
Happy
should.
days.
Hopefully. I mean, all we're interested in is good close battles, really, at the end of the day. So as long as it produces that, and hopefully it will, and hopefully it won't just be a case of if you drop out of that toe, you drop off the train, then you just can't keep up. That would be a bit frustrating, but hopefully it's not like that. It'd be good to keep together.
Absolutely fantastic, mate. Glad to hear. Any final words from you, Domino, before we bring in our next interview?
No, well, just congratulations with the great result, and we hope to see you next time, mate. And we know that the card has just gotten over the disc, so
I'm just going downstairs to get my wallet, so back in a tick.
Great. See you next time.
All right, cheers guys.
Cheers.
Yes.
Bye bye.
Right, and then we also have Joe Newman as well, who is in the commentary booth. I managed to drag another one in, so we'll drag Joe in now.
Yeah.
Good evening, Joe. Can you hear us?
Loud and clear, gents. Loud and clear.
Ah, that's good. First of all, Joe, I have to apologize because if you are watching the race back, I might have called you Joy quite a few times. But that is the thing. That is the nature of the game. We are the butcher of names. So I apologize at the beginning.
I assure you have been called worse.
Ah, great. So how was the race for you? First time AOR iRacing.
That was really good racing, to be honest with you. It's a bit of a shock to me. I never race Formula cars. I'm sort of a GT Porsche Cup driver at the best of times. So all this downforce, don't really know what to do with it. Some things I don't know what to expect. Sort of quickly discovered it's a race of slipstream, isn't it? Something I'm not used to. It's a little bit stronger in these cars than others. So race one was okay. I managed to put it on pole, which I think might have been a fluke. I think some of the other guys were quicker, but may not have got the laps in. And yeah, there was a good 3 or 4 drivers in a good train there. So we've got some teammates joining us next week, Sam and Nathan, similar pace to me. So we should have a good pack of about 6-7 drivers up there.
We always
good to see.
Yeah, we always like new drivers into the championship, into the AOR family. We love having more cars in there. But I want to touch on your saying Formula 4 cars and downforce. That's something that I myself don't really connect, but that's different matter. So now you have had a great race here at Red Bull Ring. How is it gonna be next time around? Will we see you at Circuit of the Americas? Is it a track that you fancy?
To be honest, it's not a track I've driven since the F1 games a couple of years ago. So I'll certainly give it a download this week and see what I can do on it. But tricky track. I think it'll be a lot better in terms of racing. I don't think the slipstream will matter as much. There's more places to make a mistake with slower speed corners in Sector 3 and stuff. So should be an interesting race.
Oh, there we go. So we actually just had an interview with George McDonald, who you and him got very well antiquated in that final race. And actually, he was saying he was really worried about the fact that if he dropped out of the tow Cota, that he thought that would be his race over. So interesting to see the two drivers with very similar pace, two very different opinions on the track. So I think the proof will be in the pudding next week, I would imagine.
Yeah, I think it comes down to driving style as well. I noticed racing George has a great race with him. Different corners, we were quicker at different corners. I think he must be a lot more acclimatized to downforce. The likes of turn 1 and the hairpin top of the hill, he was a little bit quicker with braking. I was able to get better exits up the likes of Sector 3 and stuff. So I think with the difficulty of Cota, Sector 1 especially, and what lines you're taking, Sector 3, the tighter corners, we could see some gaps with driver style rather than tow, in my opinion. But we'll see.
Great.
Happy days. Feeling confident about it.
Yeah, that's great. Oh no,
not at all. No, but I'll give it a shot.
Well, that first couple of corners, I'm just saying, without spoilers, don't hit the curbs. They are there to kill you. But just one last question. Now you're driving here. How is the fixed setup working for you? Is it a good thing or is it a bad thing? Is it one thing that you alerted you to the league, or what was it?
I do like fixed setup racing. I think it brings the packs a lot closer, and obviously some people are a bit more knowledge in setup, so it brings the playing field a bit closer. So I am a fan of it. In terms of the setup itself, coming from the likes of Porsche Cup cars, I like to drive the car a lot on the rear brakes. Have the brake balance really far back. Instantly practicing on this car today, I was like, okay, getting a lot of front locking and understeer. What can I do to fix this? So I know personally I run my brake bias very low there. I think a couple of other drivers may have been the other way around. I've seen some front locking when I was around them. But the danger of that is you lock a front, you go straight, you lock a rear, you go round. So it's all about how much risk you can take on the brake bias with a fixed setup, I find.
Well, great to hear, because it has been a thing that we have talked about, especially Evan and I, and it's a good thing, you know. It's a good easy way to get people in. But I'm interesting to follow and see where you progress. You know, now the next couple of races, if you can give a little bit of a challenge, and maybe next season for a championship. So great to see you there, and great that you are taking some guys with you. Tim, do you have
Yeah,
a
great.
question here at the end?
I mean, to be honest, I think I asked it earlier on with the Cota question. To be honest, I mean, you say
great.
it was an absolutely great race from you this evening. I say it was not just qualifying pace, but actually your racecraft as well. It was good. It was respectful. It's what we like to see. Some proper clean racing, and just getting stuck into the battles. Without sort of being too much of a British touring car, elbows out style driving, it was lovely to see. It's been some really good racing here this evening, and yeah, as always, an absolute pleasure to commentate on any of the racing here. So loved it.
Yeah, no, I agree. Really respectful racing all around, especially with George that second race. Would have liked to have raced a little bit more race one, but my own mistakes put me backwards and then some distractions. But really looking forward to next week after this now. Thanks, guys.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
So that is a wrap for this evening's iRacing Formula 4 League racing. And so yeah, great racing, and great to hear that we get new drivers potentially joining the league. And you know, some of the other drivers need to step up to keep their position. And yeah, a lot of great battles out there. So I will say thank you, and Tim, thanks for joining me this evening in the com box.
Absolute pleasure, and we will be back next Friday, same time, same place once again. Domino, do you have any more AOR content throughout the week you want to give a quick shout out?
I actually don't know. So, but I know that you have some.
Yeah, so Monday nights is ACC, so that's GT3 cars. That is the Tier 1 racers. That is with Rage. And then on Tuesdays, you can hear my annoying voice again for the Tuesday coverage for Tier 2. So if you can't get enough of my voice, or you can't get enough of Apex Online Racing's racing, yeah, jump on in and give them a watch.
Great. So a lot of racing and a lot of stuff to look forward on the YouTube. So please like, subscribe. There's a lot more racing out there. Thank you for this evening, and good night.
Good night.